Word Spoken podcast.
Lord COVID is not my deity. Flesh is my God. Flesh is the Quran. Flesh is the Bhagavad Gita. Flesh is the Bible. Flesh is the Vedas. Flesh is Avesta. Flesh on my chest. Flesh is the best. Her sweet sweat, my holy water. Drown me in her aura. Crown me. I'm a pauper. King of these streets. Bow at her feet. Get on one knee. Someone, anyone, hold on. Cry on me. Spit on me. Bleed on me. Every day in the month. Bleed on me at lunch. Bleed on me at dinner. Bleed for all the sinners. I want the scent of someone else stuck to me all day. No amount of cheap aftershave could ever spray you away. Fuck, fake, phantom, pixelated sex ghost is not flesh. Only flesh is flesh. Flesh relieve the stress. Flesh I do respect. Flesh flushes all the rotten fungus to the foothills of a fortress. Flesh pulls you out the mind-bending vortex. Flesh is better than sex. Flesh is tender. Flesh, I do surrender.
So that was Shaun Rivers with Flesh, and that was a wonderful, wonderful piece. Shaun, thank you very much for coming on to Word Spoken. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, it's a sweat box in here. They can't tell that through the screen, obviously, but we should let them know just how hot it is in here.
It is basically a sauna in here right now, isn't it?
I quite like it.
We're kind of getting hot and sweaty.
I told you that's how a lot of artists work as well. I was telling you about...
You did, just before we started recording.
Madonna makes sure that her studio is baking hot, completely. Obviously, hot yoga is a thing as well, but I think I like the creative side because it's sweating out of you, you know? There's nowhere to sort of get lazy, and you can't escape it. So it could be, I'm all right with it, you know. I'm okay with it. It's not pissed me off too much.
I reckon it's going to help this podcast flow swimmingly.
I think so,
right?
Yeah. We're literally swimming in our own sweat.
Literally. So look, mate, this is the first episode of season 2. And can I just say straight off the bat, it's a freaking honour to have you down. This is really, really cool. So excited to kind of get you on the show. I remember I kind of first asked you about all this prior to the madness that has been the last couple of months.
What madness? Sorry, I've not been around. I missed it. Did something go on? I don't know.
I know. I feel like it's kind of you see it on TV and radio now. It's like the compulsory first question is, how have you been kind of managing during time? So wait a minute. So I'm not going to ask that question because that's a bit the norm. But I'm going to ask a similar question. Is how have you found being a creative person in a time when everything's being closed?
Yeah. So, and I'm always honest. However, I also want to be respectful of other people's feelings at a time like this, you know, and not be like kind of smug or anything shit like that. But at the same time, I've got to be honest, I've needed a bit of this. I think a lot of people did, but in terms of me, I definitely needed to stay in a bit and go and write stuff and not talk to people and not go out and not waste energy. I've always needed to focus the mind more. And I sort of thought to myself, well, you've been given an opportunity to do that. Whether it's a negative or not, or whatever we want to go on about, this situation is the situation. So I actually did enjoy the period most of the time. Don't get me wrong, I had a couple of dark moments, but predominantly most of it was a positive experience, and I took a lot away from it, which I'm really trying to hold on to. As much as I can. Yeah.
So like you kind of mentioned there that you were doing a bit of writing. Did you find it like an easy time to write, or was it a kind of challenge to put pen to paper?
No, I did find it an easier time to write, yeah. It was sort of like I say, I I suddenly got excited because, okay, so most poets are really skint. Most creatives in London are skint. Okay, you got a few that are financed by mummy and daddy, but essentially, you know, a lot of people in London are doing this art form and doing other jobs, and will do that for a long period of time. And even when you get a higher profile or anything like that, you're still going to be behind the scenes doing other things, right? Which we don't want to do. Let's be honest. We want to be doing our art 24/7. Well, at least I do anyway. So I suddenly got excited by the fact that, you know, if you were lucky enough, like I say, people are really fucked up in this period. So if you got some furlough, right? If you got that, and you're depending on your situation. So I was thinking, okay, well, I've got now a chance to not go and work another job, service job or whatever, and I can actually just stay in my room, so not spend anything, and just actually sort of get paid to be a poet, which is what I've always wanted, right?
Yeah.
So that got me excited, and I think that made the words flow out, that excitement. I know it stifled some people because the pressure was on, right? Yeah, but I can only talk about me. So I actually sort of enjoyed that moment of, oh, fuck, now hang on a minute, I've been waiting for this for a while. So let's go, better fucking do it kind of thing. So, yeah.
There was something that definitely brought me a smile during lockdown, and that is your Instagram page, mate. Some of your videos you put up are super funny.
Thanks, man.
They really are.
Yeah, and I that is part of me as well. That I thought, you know, let's try and because I do have a dark sense of humour, and I'm not whatever I do, and there was a lot of comedy going on as well, you know, in a fucked up way there was, and I just thought, because I was still speaking to a lot of people, a lot of my mates, and I felt like maybe some of my friends needed a bit of a cheering up, or at least entertainment, or at least to see that I was losing it as well, to share that, which I'm very happy to do. You know, that's how I get things out. I share it. If I'm down, I'll share that. If I'm upbeat, I'll share that. I don't see it as only kind of sharing things when you're in a good place. You need to share things when you're in other places as well, because that's what you know.
No, I mean, I think you're right. They really did bring a smile to my face, mate.
Good.
They were that's very good. Funny, and also I think it was just great to see someone, as you kind of mentioned, actually really putting out perhaps more stuff. You were writing more stuff. You were doing more stuff. That was kind of like, in my personal case, I actually found it quite hard to write in that time. And I was like kind of inspired from your like energy and like grit during that time, man. It's really cool. So going back to your kind of writing process, I'm really intrigued to know about this, because you are someone on the scene that I think in terms of performance literally puts everything into it in a way which not many other people do. You like are in a live setting, you're prancing around the stage, you're kind of coming into the audience, you hug people, you embrace people, you're very much a 4D poet. So how do you come to start writing a piece? And where does the performance element start to come into it?
Well, I think it's fair to say I definitely am a performance poet. I mean, I identify with that angle more. You know, I can't wait to take the words out there, and that's you know, that's my thing really. And when I write, I don't really spend a long time writing a piece. When the idea comes, it flows quite quickly, and I'm always sort of definitely always sort of with the idea of how it can come across to an audience, and looking forward to that, and having the flexibility within the poem to change it depending on the interaction with the audience. I write quite quickly when the idea comes, and usually don't adjust it too much or mess around with it. Sometimes if a burst has come and I think there's more to come, I'll kind of leave it and come back and do a second burst. But yeah, I always am looking forward to the, there's different styles of everything. And I think the spoken word thing is, you know, it's, we aren't, the page, don't get me wrong, my stuff maybe on page, it's not, it's not amazing or whatever. It's not meant. The page is great to read, is great, but I think the spoken word this is where the spoken word thing comes in. We are designed to be, taking it out there and
heard and seen.
And heard, yeah.
Sure.
So that's something I think about. The only time that's changed, and this is really recently, is in this period. I had to write differently, which really this is so.
How so?
Yeah, so pre-COVID, a lot of my writing was in the back of my mind, actually writing for the audience and seeing the audience and seeing those faces and thinking of lines that could piss someone off or flirt with someone or engage with someone. And so that was always there in my head. And then when this happened, I kind of thought to myself, well, it suddenly felt like, this is again in that moment, quite dramatic, but it suddenly felt like, there's going to be no live gigs ever again. I'm not going to see anyone again, right? So what am I going to do? How am I going to write? And I sort of thought, well, why don't you? I sort of tried to, and maybe it wasn't conscious or it was subconscious, but I maybe explored stuff without the idea of an audience. And I think we'll see how they go out now to an audience. But I was very much trying to go really inwards to parts of myself more, which I might not have done necessarily in some of the other work as much. Because now I was thinking, well, there's no audience, but the stuff is in me that still needs to come out.
Yeah.
So what's in there that needs to come out that maybe won't see an audience? I mean, and that's some of the great stuff that I've witnessed when I see stuff that blows me away. It's actually something about that privacy of somebody who has written something very internal and private and probably not thought about taking it to an audience. And then that can go two ways live, because then they can come and they can be quite shy and not in and it live, it doesn't go quite well for them. But, it's a good poem. So that's where they come back and development happens and suddenly they get that confidence. But occasionally, you'll get someone who's gone for something really intimate, something very private that they never thought really or had the idea of an audience as such. And then that's what I like when I see that can really capture people. So I'm always looking for ways to change my writing up and performance up as well, and scare myself and test myself and see what now will happen with this new batch, which I've done for you today. I've done 3 new ones, and so it's kind of like I'm trying to keep going ahead with that movement of it, if you know what I mean.
Did you at any point kind of get involved with some of the online stuff that was going on?
Yeah.
There was some like virtual slams, virtual open mics. Did you kind of in any way get involved in that? I mean, there are still. But.
Yeah. So I was split on this. I liked some parts of it and I didn't like other parts.
Yeah, no, I mean, same.
Right? I liked what Sonny Green did with Trouble Tongues.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was killer. He just really did it every night, 7 p.m. I mean, that is dedication, and it, I saw something brilliant happen there where I did a few of those, but you saw the benefit of not being out there in the real world because you saw the connectivity of people from other countries popping in, and I thought that was something quite remarkable actually. So hats off to him for that, and I enjoyed that one. Then there's the other side. Some of it can get it got a little bit, just with the phone like that, it can get a little bit indulgent or vain or just because it actually become written for maybe a phone. Right, rather than like an audience or for yourself or for which was cool, but after a while maybe I thought, right, we really need to get outdoors again now. You know what I mean? Like some of us need to stop black mirroring it out, me included, by the way. No, the other one I didn't like was that because some people were telling me I do a separate night to poetry called Rivers Rodeo. I've only done 3 of them, but it's a variety night. And I want to bring all art forms into one cascading waterfall of madness.
So in like that, you have like drag as well, don't you?
Drag. Yeah. I'm wide open to stuff. If it's good and it's diverse and it's different, I'm happy to put that on. And there was people talking to me about, you've got to keep that, because it just happened before lockdown, and people were like, you've got to keep that going and do a live one. And I kind of dabbled, and then I started to go, I just closed my eyes and kind of go, do you know what? Right, I'm not doing it, because live stream does bum me out a bit. There's something about it that bums me out.
Yeah.
Seeing someone go live in the room, but it made me sad. It just made me sad. Even if they were amazing, which loads of people were, I just sort of, it's like Zoom. I didn't like Zoom at all. I said to a lot of my good mates, I'm not doing this chat. I'm going for a walk instead. No offense to anyone, but I don't want to do another pub quiz with all these faces. And that was at the start. And then people were like, they were a bit offended. And I had to say, I don't usually send long texts, but I was like, this is why I'm not. Because I'm already today really paranoid that, we are just essentially going to be communicating and working like this. And it's, I was having one of those days and I thought, rather than look at my mate who's got this sunset behind him as his screen on a little square, I might actually go out and see a sunset instead, right? Whilst I can on my little 1 hour exercise or whatever. So I didn't enjoy that, but so I didn't bother with that because some things are meant to be physical. So let's just hold tight. And I took that again as another opportunity. It felt like lots of pieces were in place for me actually to go into myself more and write. It felt like, rather than doing these shows online, I popped up on a couple, but rather than getting too sucked into that, let them other people get on with that, what they're doing really well, like Sonny was doing, and just wait and get get material together. That was my main. I realised that was what this was about for me, was actually getting some stuff together and sharing it immediately.
Yes.
That was nice as well, to write and share, and not be precious. Which I didn't do that before. I'd write and sit on it and then perform it, but this again was a chance where it's just sort of like write and share it, and even maybe we don't know what the quality is like, we're just sharing it, and there was something nice about that as well. So yeah.
Just quickly going back to kind of the world which used to exist when there was live events. So like you kind of said that you used to kind of write and then sit on something for a little bit, and then it would kind of and then you would do it live.
Yeah.
What I want to know is like the first time you do a poem, you've thought about each line and the performance bit. This is going to be flirting with the crowd. Does it go the way you think it does?
No, I've not thought about each line. Yeah. What I'm doing when I'm writing, I'm kind of got an idea. A vague idea of sort of what might be a moment to sort of engage with someone. But I think I don't really rehearse the poem too much either.
Yeah.
So once it's written and it's done, I kind of come out there and see where it goes a bit.
Okay, yeah.
So I like that. I do love that element, and I've always liked that in other performers I've seen, is the spontaneity of the live show, of making some bits up and changing some bits, and breaking the stuffiness or the stiffness out.
Yeah,
because that's one thing I look forward to. Yeah,
and it's the kind of back and forth with the crowd that I think I miss the most, and obviously it's something you cannot replicate with an Instagram live or with Zoom, whatever.
No,
you don't get that kind of instant like, yeah, that was a good bit. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just like validation seeking, isn't it? But I really feel like the kind of art to a good performer and the art to a good night is a two-way street with the performer and the crowd, right? And I think something which I want to speak about in a little bit, which is Chocolate Poetry Club, which you are, of course, a part of, is one of those nights which kind of really does that. Okay, cool. So I want you to tell me a little bit about the second piece that we're going to hear from you, which is entitled Abandoned. So yeah, give us a little kind of preamble to this piece.
Yeah, so actually this is out of what we were just talking about, actually. So a couple of writers and filmmakers contacted me to essentially, it gave me 48 hours to write a piece on the word. They gave me the word abandoned, and they said, yeah, you got 48 hours to write something and film it and send it back over. And it's called the Creatables. There we go. So what the Creatables did was they sent that word out to 8 different artists, and some were poets, some were photographers, one was a producer. I didn't know who was going to be involved, and I got sent that word, and it was a word I liked immediately. And I did actually say to them, sometimes when it's collaborating with someone, I won't force it. Sometimes I just have to say no, because I think with a collaboration and the way I work, I know straight. I don't think sometimes it's worth forcing something as well. With that nature of how it is, if it should click, You know, if you get sent a track and you hear it, you know straight away at least whether it excites you enough.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, maybe it's not that it's bad, it means it's not for you. So maybe they sent me another word, I might have struggled with it, you know, but they sent me a word that I was kind of already sort of mulling over.
Liked it.
Yeah, and I liked the word. So that's how this poem came about. And then I sent that to them. And it came out, the final thing came out a week ago or something. It was really cool to see just how different people think. You know, you think that everything gets a bit repeated or samey, but actually you're surprised, you know, people's take on one word is so varied. That's what's great about life and poetry. You know?
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. So look, I think now's time to kind of listen to this wonderful piece then that you wrote from that experience. So this is Shaun Rivers with a wonderful piece called Abandon.
So many things that we've abandoned as we've walked upon the earth, lost so much of the soil, found so much of the dirt, hurt, betrayal, left a huge destructive trail that we pray we can reverse as we're waving at our hearse. Should have prayed. Regardless of what the papers say, should have prayed anyway, shown some faith, shown some grace, wash the sin away, abandon, hate, worship, love before nature pulls the plug. We are not separate from our surroundings. We are our surroundings. So when we choose to kill ourselves inside, the outside world dies too. Be reborn whilst you're still alive. Don't wait to die. Enjoy this gift of life. I'm sure we'll be all right. I aligned with Mother Earth. She grabbed me by the ankles and held me upside down and said, "How do you like it now?" I said, "Please, please, please, have mercy. Put me the right way round. Please." She held me higher. "Put me the right way round. I'll never drop another bomb or a single piece of litter. I'll clear all the plastic out the ocean. And I promise I'll quit smoking." She held me higher. What else? I'll held me higher, gripped on. I'll put yoga on the curriculum. I'll take up Reiki healing. I'll get all the world leaders to suddenly turn vegan. I'll decentralize power. I'll make sure every child can live and breathe easily. Please, just put me the right way round. She said, "You are. The world is upside down." She dropped me. And I fell into the underworld. The devil sat beside me. He looked just like me. He said, "Can you learn to like me? I'm just like you. I've made mistakes. But inside good, there is evil. And inside evil, there is good. Only one thing can transcend it." We looked at each other and both said, "Love."
Cool, so there we go. That was Shaun Rivers with a wonderful piece called Abandon. Thank you so much for performing that piece, mate. That was excellent.
Thank you.
What a great way to kind of start. To have as your second piece even. Really, really loved it. There were some amazing lines in there. I really liked the bit at the end when he said, "Inside good, there is evil, and inside evil, there is good." I think that's a really kind of like wicked message. And then I love the bit where I'll put yoga on the curriculum. I'll turn the leaders vegan.
Yeah.
Really, really funny, man. I can really see your sense of humour comes through with those kind of pieces.
But though probably should have yoga in the curriculum, to be honest. You know, I said it,
agree,
you know.
Yeah,
because let's be honest, when you're at school, right, you're immediately, you only get a few years, right, where you're not in the system of the idea of an exam and a job. That creeps up on you. At what age now are you told you're doing exams? You don't need
they have like the 10 plus, don't they?
Yeah.
So
like, I mean, that is basically disgusting. I think. I think it's disgusting. They should, if you're gonna look, you know, you can't win all these battles. If they want to do that, they should at least have a section of the day where they switch off from all that and do some yoga. I said it jokingly, but I actually really do think I would actually think that I would have benefited from that myself. And I think, I think, you know, letting everything go and closing your eyes and just not thinking about exams or jobs or money or things like that. You know, kids need to know that and keep hold of that because they have so much of that in them that we all do. And it doesn't disappear, but it lies dormant and goes and sort of shrinks. Let's say it shrinks. Yeah.
Well, I think you tie up that kind of message, that idea really, really well in that piece. So yeah, thank you very much for performing that for us on Word Spoken. So look, now I want to kind of briefly speak about Chocolate Poetry Club, which we did just mention before. But this is obviously one of the bigger nights, or I'd say one of the more well-known nights on the scene in London. It is a night which has come up on this show, I think, more than any others. And that's mainly because it's where I've met most of the guests that have come on to the show. I would say at least half I met there, or you know, have definitely spent a lot of time with them at that night. How long ago did you start getting involved with Chocolate Poetry Club? And was that, you know, when did it start?
So, Paul Point, the legendary, amazing Paul Point, is the founder of it. And it is his creation, his baby, definitely, to start with. But it has evolved into everybody's baby and everybody's therapy session, everybody's place where you come and see such a quick fire, brilliant, intense talent, you know, without a stage, without a mic. That's what the room helps. The fact that there's no stage on mic, that there's no. It must be scary for people as well coming down for the first time. You know, sometimes you think, oh, there's a stage and a mic. You actually get more. You actually relax because of that. But in a way that we strip the barriers and the walls down. People are very naked up there. And that intimacy and the fact that it runs quickly and the energy makes that night. So I'm not very great with how exactly dates and all that, but it's definitely been around maybe 7 years, something like that. I mean, if not more, but it feels like definitely it's in the last 3 or 4 years, it's really gone, you know, into the, you know, orbit. And I came in, I think I just came down as a performer, and then, you know, just, I did the competition they did, and they had a poem that stood out, and I think we clicked basically. And they wanted to get some hosts in so that Paul could, you know, help do more of the behind the scenes stuff and keep that side going, and have a couple of hosts in that could sort of take the space and bring in another flavour, if you like. Yeah,
it is a really, really great night. I think one of the things that I quite like about it as well, which is something you don't get at other nights necessarily, is you have that kind of chalkboard right at the front.
Yeah.
So once everyone's kind of signed up and you got everyone in, you can kind of see where you are, and that's like actually like, okay, cool, wicked. I've got 2. I'm like 2 away.
Yeah.
Let's kind of, you know, you can like mentally prepare. Whereas sometimes some other nights you're like a little bit clueless sometimes.
Yeah, I think that adds to it, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's sort of, I mean, it can go the other way. You know, you want to not be too in your head.
Yeah,
but I think a little bit of that tension of seeing your name actually feeds the whole atmosphere in the room a little bit, you know.
And then in the first half, so there's a kind of like a crowd vote, right, on the first half. So can you tell us a little bit about how that kind of works?
Yeah, that's also, I should mention that because I think that's a nice touch.
It is.
I think that is something quite unique to that night as well, actually. So yeah, the first half, all the performers in the first half in the interval before the second half, they do a vote, and the name with the most votes gets to come back the following month and do a featured slot, which I think that's a good dimension because
It really is.
of course, a little bit of that competitive edge in anything is good. You know, it makes sure people are bringing, you know, their A game. But besides that as well, not just that I want the guest spot. What it does is actually keeps this continuity of growth and you know, also the open fairness of sort of turning up maybe and just nailing it, not having all these other things behind you and all these other followers or whatever. You've come down and, you know, it is open like that. So I think seeing it, keeping it in-house and bringing that back, you know, you're actually starting careers. You're starting, you potentially are giving a careers a lift up the ladder, you know.
You're right, and I think one of the other things is like even people that maybe it's their first time ever doing it, like the standard always seems to be really high, and I think that kind of comes off potentially that kind of atmosphere in the room really pushes people to their best. I think you kind of go up there with a lot of confidence because you know that the crowd are up for it, right? It's a very rowdy, raucous environment.
Yeah, but a supportive one.
And very supportive.
So it's rowdy and energetic, but very supportive as well.
For sure.
And that again is another unique thing, I think. And I think that that's a very good point. That's one of the things I like about it is the energy's there and it's rowdy and it's raucous, but the support is there for people to maybe mess up a bit or, you know, not get it quite right. And we hold the attention and we hold the space for people to come back from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any hope in the near future of open mics coming back?
Yeah. I think definitely. But so they can come back.
Yeah.
Right. Well, people don't. They can
because you can't go to the pub now.
Yeah. So, as much as what I know, because I do work in a pub, and then obviously I'm still looking at what's going on with live events, things like that. It's fair to say that big, high-profile live events with crowds and all that ain't going to happen anytime soon. But and here's where we have to get it right, though, because just because we're allowed back doesn't necessarily mean we should do it, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So. What I can say at this point without getting people's hopes up or maybe giving misinformation is where we had a chance to bring it back, but with lower capacity and a higher price of entry, which we don't want to do, obviously.
Yeah.
Why would we want lower capacity and charge more when we've already established a night of it was peaking out the space. The final few, there was probably too many there. It was, it was that tipping point where the space may not be suitable anymore, which is great. Yeah. So why go backwards? And also, charging too much. So because of the situation. So that's not going to happen. However, in the past week or so, and I still need to speak with Paul and stuff, but it looks like we're allowed now to sort of stretch the numbers out. So from rather than like 20, it's getting to 50. 50 looks a bit more healthy. So we're not in a rush, but we are not being lazy or complacent. Yeah. We want it back, but some people are worried about their health as well. So we need to make sure we're doing everything right, but still pushing boundaries and taking risks at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like that at the minute, but it will be coming back sooner than you think. Don't worry.
Wicked. Yeah. Well, that is great news because, for one, cannot wait.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. So look, now we've come to the part of the show, right, which I like to call the 155 challenge.
I'm
right?
excited by this.
Are you excited?
I am.
Are you ready for this?
I am. I think so.
So I've got some kind of like sexy jingles, which I'm really proud
jingles.
of. So yeah,
you made these?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
This is a 360 gig over here. So are you ready for the 155 challenge?
I'm ready for a sexy jingle.
Okay, fuck yeah.
155.
Okay.
That is sexy, I've got to say.
So,
That
it is,
is-
isn't it?
The
It's
scribbling,
fire.
the scribbling makes
There's a lot
it.
of thought that went into this,
I
mate.
like it, man.
Okay, so the 155 is the part of the show where we challenge our guests to a quick fire free write.
Okay.
The rules are as follow. You must pick one word out of that box and write a short piece about that word. You have 1 minute 55 to complete this task, after which you solemnly swear to read it out loud.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear to read it out loud, mate?
I solemnly fucking swear all the time.
Okay, wicked. So there's one other element to this, and this is kind of more directed towards the listeners of the show, is that you have a chance to take part in this as well. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, or use your phone. We're going to do a countdown in a short little bit of 1 minute 55. First of all, we're going to pick the word out of the box. But if you send your entries to Word Spoken Podcast, if you DM them to me, what I'm going to do is we'll have a winner, and you will get the chance to win one of these mugs, a Word Spoken mug. So I say, don't be a mug, win a mug. There you go.
Nice.
There's a phrase for you.
Wow.
Okay, so look.
Are you mugging me off, mate? Are you mugging me off?
Mug puns. Okay, so do you want to grab that little box there with a Word Spoken sticker on there, mate?
This one,
Give
yeah.
it a good old shake. We're just going to pick out the word now. Give it a nice old shake. And whenever you're ready, take that lovely lid off, and let's see.
You're telling me to take
what
my
the
lid
word
off?
is. I'm telling you to take your lid off. Okay, so he's going through the box now.
Got
Here
it.
we go.
I've not seen it yet, but I've got it.
Okay. Ka-dong.
Good donk, that was yes.
Yeah, don't worry, that's fine. Okay, cool. So, can you read out the words that you have in front of you, Shaun Rivers?
Puddle.
Puddle. Okay, so there we go. The word we have is puddle.
Yeah.
So, people listening at home, get ready, get thinking. We're talking puddle, mate. You have a pen there.
I'm going to freestyle it.
You're going to freestyle
Yeah,
it?
yeah. 1 minute. I mean, it's better to go with the energy of the word. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're going to have 1 minute 55 to prepare then.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just think it's one of those ones where it's just such a quick, spontaneous thing. I'd rather just throw myself out there and see what
Okay,
comes.
okay.
Just to be funnier.
Do you know what? So, okay. Wait. So, what I want you to do is we're going to start the countdown now. So, everyone listening at home, you've got 1 minute 55 to write your piece. Your time starts.
155.
Am I going now?
No.
Oh, they're scribbling away. I'm supposed to be scribbling. Oh, okay, let me just. I'll just do a little drawing.
Yeah, he's trying to break the rules here, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
you know me.
You know what? Whilst we're kind of doing this, you're writing your lovely thing down there, and I can tell you a little fact about puddles.
Yes.
Right? That in the World Puddle Championship,
Yeah.
which happens every year, World Puddle Jumping. Sorry,
There's a
championship.
sport of
there's a
okay.
sport of jumping.
Of course
in,
there is, yeah.
Jumping in puddles. They have banned fizzy drinks because it's believed to give the competitors an advantage. That is a true fact.
That would make sense.
It's held in Kettering in the UK.
Because the energy from the fizz pop.
Yeah. So there you go. There's I don't know, maybe that will help out in your little prompt. So you guys listening at home, we're coming up to just under halfway. So this is getting quite tense. Can you hear that music?
It's getting
man?
tense. You were trying to do to me.
Can you feel that energy?
It's like, who wants to be a millionaire?
I love as well. Right? So I literally gave him a pad and a pen, and what he's written in massive letters is the word puddle.
Because this is like school. When they made me try and sit down and do work, I was like, fuck you. I'll tell you what. You're lucky I haven't drawn a penis on it. There's still time.
There is still time. The countdown is coming. You know what? I think you're going to absolutely smash this.
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I really do. So just a quick reminder, you're listening at home, you've got to send me in whatever answer you come up with, and what I'm going to do is post the winning piece, and you'll win your very own Word Spoken mug. So make sure you do that. The time is coming up. We've got 10 seconds left. It is intense, right?
Wow. 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Put down your pens. Put down your pens. You never picked yours up. You just drew a puddle with a lovely penis on the end.
Puddle penis.
Puddle penis. Right, okay, so I feel like you're ready. You were born ready for this challenge, mate. This isn't even a challenge, mate. This is just whatever. Okay, so let's hear Shaun's entry for the 155 challenge with the word puddle.
For the 155 challenge, don't let the fizz pop, stop your flip-flops when you jump in the puddle, up, down, up, hubble and bubble. Don't get in a kerfuffle, cause I'm just looking for trouble, even though trouble just follows me. Don't get my fucking jeans muddy. It's puddles of blood. Unleash the phoenix from the flames. Every single night I say your fucking name over and over and over again. It starts to sound the same. Everything looks black and white. Do you know what? I'm done. I dropped the mic.
Wow.
There we go.
There you go, mate. Well done, man. That
Puddle.
was fantastic. Put it there.
Bit of freestyling tonight.
Well done, mate. Well, look, thank you for playing the 155 challenge.
I like
I
that.
hope you enjoyed that, man.
I
I feel
did.
you were born for that.
I like the
You
155
literally
challenge, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, just remind everyone at home, send them into Word Spoken Podcast in the DM and you'll win a mug and I'll post your winning piece up on Instagram. Isn't that fun? Okay, cool. So, the other thing I want to chat to you about is your book. You have a poetry book yourself and we actually have it on the desk right in front of us, I do believe, if it's, unless it's run away in like a fight or flight.
It's a bit moist because it's so hot in here. After those jingles, it's all got a bit steaming.
That kind of tense music
Yeah.
has made things a bit intense. So tell us a little bit about this book. When did you write it and what's the kind of mission here?
Twisted and Chewed. So, it is essentially, it came out in 2018, a couple of years ago now, and it's very autobiographical, semi-autobiographical, give or take some bits and pieces that, and it charts my sort of few years in London, really, from a little bit sort of Manchester, some of the earlier clubbing stuff, but that is something I'm still doing anyway. So yeah, it's my time in London and the euphoria of a new city, the despair of a new city, the danger of a new city, the reality of a new city, the loves that come and go, and yeah, endless blow. Yeah,
And that, and endless blow.
there's always blow around.
Love it. Can you tell us the story you've told me before this about the kind of picture you've got in there? I thought this was a really cool thing.
Oh yeah, so
there's some artwork.
yeah, so my friend came to, I mean, she was a new friend and came to a few of the shows and really identified and liked the poetry and hadn't known her too long. And she had sort of really absorbed them and actually knew one of the poems better than me because it's one that I struggle to remember. And she sort of remembered, I found that quite inspiring. And I liked that somebody had absorbed the poetry in that way. And anyway, when the opportunity for the book to came about, I was thinking, right, well, what do I do about imagery? Because I do like imagery, and I think it's, if you get it right, it can just be the sort of icing on the cake of something. I didn't want too much, but I wanted a few bits, sort of, and so I sent Nicole Bailey the manuscript, the rough manuscript, to draw something for. I said, pick a poem and draw something or whatever. And I mean, I didn't expect too much, but what came back I was very, very happy with. And this came back and it was a representation of the whole world of the book, which I found interesting.
Yeah.
Rather than one poem. She thought that represented the whole book.
It is really amazing as. So just for the people that are listening and not watching it on YouTube, there's kind of an eye, there's like, I can't put it into words, can I? I'm going to do this really bad justice, but you've also got the tattoo of it on your arm.
Yeah.
So if you want to see what it looks like, look at Shaun's arm.
Yeah, and I
But
just,
it's wicked.
yeah, well, I thought that was, I was looking for a new tattoo anyway, and I thought that would be a nice,
Why not kill two birds with one stone?
yeah, and I just thought that it would be great to mark that moment, that period of the writing and stuff like that.
Where can people get it? Is it available online?
Yeah, so you can get it at londonpoetrybooks.com, or you can still get it on Amazon or Waterstones. So yeah, but I would say London Poetry Books. So it came out.
Is the way to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the way to go with it. Yeah.
Okay, cool, mate. So look, tell us about the third and final piece that we're going to hear from you today.
Yeah, so today I've done 3 new poems which are not in this book. And I am going to make an effort now after this period to be performing new work a lot more.
Like
just not resting on. I perform these a lot, and I want people to buy it, and I want people to. And I'm not saying never, but I've got to look at shaping up the next period of myself as a writer and a human as well, and that growth needs to. The danger and the growth of new poetry. So the next one is called Drip Drip, which was written right at the very end of 2019, like Christmas. Actually, no, it was written when the election was going on.
Okay.
That's exactly when it was written.
Quite a tense moment.
Yeah. So it was written while that shit was happening, and finished it on like election night. And it's sort of, it's not about that, but it definitely fueled it. So it came out at the end of 2019. It's called Drip Drip.
Well, look, I think this is a wonderful piece, mate. I really, really do. So I can't wait for everyone to hear it. This is Shaun's third and final piece that he's going to perform for us on Word Spoken, and it is entitled Drip Drip.
Drip, 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 drip. Before it all burns, surely it will melt. The top of your nose, down the back of your throat, choke, 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 choke. Is it fair trade coke? Is it fair trade? Healthcare, libraries, schools and housing up in smoke, 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 collapsing, broken, covered up with cheap cladding. Where's the genie from Aladdin? He's probably laughing in the shadows as bodies dangle and then drip, drip, drip out the window. No more heroes. In 2019, we still couldn't feed every single human being. In 2020, is there still plenty of time for a drip that hasn't dropped ash on the ground from an Icelandic cloud? At least your skin looks nice and brown. Black Friday comes to town. Did you click on Amazon in time to buy your Amazon Fire tablet, to watch the Amazon decline on Amazon Prime? Amazon Smile, another wildfire in Australia, California. The apocalypse looks gorgeous on my iPhone. Iconic. 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 Ironic. Ironic. Absolutely moronic. Scroll, 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 scroll in full zombie mode. Icon. Icon. Icon everyone for the benefit of the chosen few who think they'll end up on the moon. Where's Jesus when you need him? He's posing for selfies with the wealthy, comfortable and carefree in an elitist playground whilst we're stuck on a never-ending roundabout. Them lot laugh and do hopscotch whilst they hang me from the monkey bars and watch my foreign blood drip, drip, drip down your magic money slide. How do you sleep at night when 85 people own 3.5 billion lives? It's not sick. It's not lit. It's shit. Here come the floods. Where's Noah when you need him? Where is he? He's pulling plastic out the crying ocean. Fishes floating. Close your eyes, look away. Close your eyes and pray. God, calm my fever with some gin and fever. Where's the trees? I'm on my knees. I'm desperately planting seeds, but wherefore art thou, trees? I want unlimited data and 5Gs. Hang on. Where's the bees? I need honey for this sore throat. Is it fair trade Coke? Is it fair trade Coke? Is it one big joke? No more shits to give, no more drips to drop. Try and stop the thunder, lightning storms hit the north, south, east and sent me west. I can feel it in my chest. The earth stops spinning. Will we burn slow or really quick? My only wish is that my corpse looks sick on Insta. Stick a filter on my coffin picture. Cover up the blisters. Amen, so-called brothers and sisters.
So there we go. That was Shaun Rivers with Drip Drip. Thank you so much for blessing up with that piece, mate. That was exceptional. That was there's so much to unpack in that, and so many kind of references and kind of commentary on our modern world that I just really, really liked. There was kind of a few that kind of jumped out. You know, that bit when you go, hang on, where are the bees? I love that. I just think you kind of portray that really well, and then stick a filter on my coffin picture. You know, I just think you do kind of give quite a kind of funny comment on the state of things right now. So I think you achieved. Sorry, just come to the mic a little bit. I think you achieved that really well. So thanks you for performing that first, that last piece. So we're kind of getting to the end of the show here, man. One of the questions I want to ask is so we've obviously heard 3 pieces from you. Where do you feel your inspiration comes from when you're writing?
So it's a funny question that you get asked, and I think, you know, there's sort of mixed obvious answers, but I don't know. I think what I can say is I don't know where is a funny one to say, but how you grasp it is more important. So inspiration is coming from everywhere. I mean, it's coming from literally all over the place, right? If you're open to it. And so it's about allowing it in. And when it comes, something coming, a feeling coming, it's harnessing it quickly and acting on it. So it could be a film you just watched. It could be something someone's just said in the park. It could be a song. It could be any of those things and more, right? But it's sort of, if something flares up, it's going with that, and that's where I think it matters. Is when something rises in you, is being able to sort of catch it, you know, and not let it go, or be lazy, or not be proud that inspiration's hit you, and think, you know, just so if something comes across to you, getting hold of it and running with it. So I don't know where it comes from. Obviously, it comes from loads of different places. Some more clear than others, but they always forget where it comes from. But I just remember the moment of going, something's happening here to my feelings, to my brain, and I need to just sort of get it out. And that's what I'd say. Yeah,
nice, mate. Okay, well, talking of inspiration, we've got a final little bit, a little segment I like to call Eyes and Ears. So, could you tell us your eyes and ears? So wait a minute, we're going to start off with, sorry, let me just get my little, you have to hear my jingle, mate. I've worked a very long time
your
on this.
Jingles,
you ready?
by the way, are brilliant.
Love it. Eyes and ears. Go.
Okay, that's for you.
Right, so Eyes and Ears is the part of the show where our guest gives us recommendations.
On a serious note,
for
they're really
eyes
good.
and
They're really
ears.
good. That
Oh,
one,
thanks,
yeah,
mate.
seriously, on a
Do you
serious
think
note.
so?
Yeah.
I've been working on them.
They're really
That
good.
was my lovely friend Matt on the vocals. I thought he did a good job there.
Did you
didn't
do the
he?
music for them?
Yeah, well, I just mixed loads of stuff.
I like it, man. They're really good, yeah.
There you go. So, look, Eyes and Ears is a part of the show where we get a recommendation from our guests, something for our eyes and something for our ears. So let's start off with our eyes. What have you got for us, Shaun?
So, for the eyes, I gave this a little bit more thought than I usually would. I thought, rather than doing something like, here's my favourite poet and here's their poetry book, or here's my favourite novel, I thought of taking a slightly different angle with it. So, the reason I chose this book, which I'll mention in a minute, is because I've read it twice now. And it was and I'm glad I read it twice. I'm glad I came back to it, and it was the perfect time with what's gone on to read it again. So, it's by Ram Dass. It's called Be Here Now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that the way it's helped me at 2 different periods in my life, and probably a third or a fourth or a fifth, who knows, but maybe if somebody else is in a place where they are looking for, and I don't do, so it's not a self-help book, it's far from it, but it is definitely a transformation book or a perspective changer book and a spirituality book. And if with everything that's going on in the world, there's always stuff going on, right? But particularly this period of time, I think getting back to that yoga and the curriculum thing, I think it's important for people to really go inwards, go inside, stay inside, save, that thing which is so horrible.
Outside, stay outside.
Yeah, that thing, maybe flip it and go, actually, whoa, give it the deepness that it hasn't got when it's said by them.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a book about Ram Dass's experiences in his life in America, in India, and him getting into meditation and also seeing the beauty and deepness of being in the present moment. Being in the present moment. That's the main thing from this book, is staying present. And we need to do that. We need to put the laptop down. We need to put the phone down. We need to do all those things and essentially, see, not be above what's going on or be desensitized to it, the opposite, but see beyond it as well. So see it and recognize it and help out and get engaged and all those things, but also go a little even further than that reality of what's going on and come into a more higher consciousness spiritual form. And what's good about this book is it's a good starting point. So it's beautiful book, very simplified.
Oh wow! Yeah.
The artwork's incredible, and some of the pages have only got a few phrases on, but read it slowly and allow each page to embed in, and sit on that and don't read it too quickly. And it, if you're not distracted and you can really give to it. But one thing I will say is this book is pointless unless you do want to transform you a little bit. You couldn't just read it like you could read a novel and not really know too much about it. Or you could just read it and give it a chance. This one, I'd say it's pointless unless you're at a point where you're actually looking to rediscover some things and change a few things. And it's done in a cool way. Yeah. So that's why I thought that.
There we go. Ram Dass, Be Here Now. I think that's a great recommendation. I think one of the things I've kind of noticed, obviously, with the past few months is it feels a little bit like time has slowed down. Like
it was very high.
Everyone was living, like definitely in London, was living a very high, fast-paced life, right? Non-stop.
Yeah.
And time goes very quickly when you're busy, right? And then suddenly you've got all the time in the world, but you can't find a minute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's time kind of slows down.
Yeah.
And I think
a chance for something like that. Yeah. That's why I brought that in today.
Okay, cool. And then for our ears recommendation.
Ears, yeah. So again, I'm going off. I'm trying to keep it very recent. I could say listen to this album that changed my life when I was a teenager, but I mean. No one wants to know. No one wants to know. But Britney Spears. No, but the one I've got, the Blackout album was good. That was a great piece of work. But yeah, so for the ears is a podcast episode. It's very famous, doing really well. Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm a massive fan of it.
Yeah,
I love it.
He's amazing, right? He's what he's done with that show. Is so so now. You know what I mean? Though it is, and it's a beautiful thing that because I sometimes get worried that we only want art that's 30 seconds, 50 seconds, 1 minute, instant Instagram, and it's moved on and it's sort of. But this is actually not just his show, but people really into podcasts and actually being really able to have 3 hours or something.
Yes, and it goes on for ages. And also one of the things I really like about it, it's actually something I'm actually trying to do with this one, is there's zero edits, right? So you just kind of see the conversations as they are. You see them turn on the mic and go, right, are we rolling?
It's better.
It's very real. It's a real honest conversation.
Yeah.
And
It's deep. People connect.
we're not getting it elsewhere as well, are we? Wait, so I really want to know which episode it is.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know, but I mean, I love that. That's your same
Mate,
as me. I mean,
completely agree.
I watched a lot in London, but the one I've gone for is, again, and I've been applying it to my life before I watched it, and definitely cranked it up a bit since I watched it. So it's Paul Stamets.
Mm-hmm.
The first episode he did. Second one's okay, but the first one's amazing.
Okay.
He's a mycologist who studies mycology, mushrooms, the whole spectrum of mushrooms. He's the man. He's the mushroom man. Psychedelic ones, non-psychedelic ones, poisonous ones, anything. And it blew my mind because there's some stuff I knew and some stuff I had no idea about. And it's if you're into mushrooms at the minute, or intrigued by what they can do for your health, for the environment, for your consciousness, for fashion, for clothing, check that out. It's funny as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's some funny stories in there, and it blew my mind, and it inspired me a lot. And I think it's something that people should know about. Because they're amazing things. Yeah.
Mate, I absolutely love that.
Have you seen that episode?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
I have. Honestly, I consume so much Joe Rogan. I mean, he puts out a lot, right?
Yeah.
But I consume a lot. Do you know? I don't know if I've watched the whole thing, but you know, they've got the other YouTube channel called Joe Rogan Clips, right? So they do like little.
They
snippets.
chunk them down a bit.
So I know the man you're speaking of.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would definitely go away and listen to the full thing, man. I really like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? The one recently I've been obsessed with by Joe Rogan on the same show is with Brian Cox.
Yeah, I saw that one.
my
Brilliant. That's
God.
brilliant because he was able to.
He's incredible.
He's great on his programs, but it was nice to get him in a relaxed situation, and he was very relaxed, and he was being able to speak very philosophically and very deeply, but in a really simple,
super simple. You can understand what he's going on about. He's going on about how like black holes and like all this crazy stuff, but you understand it.
Yeah,
I love it. I think that's what Joe Rogan does. So those are two great recommendations. So we got Ramdas, Be Here Now. Ramdas, Be Here Now. And the Joe Rogan episode with Paul Stamets.
Yeah.
So look, the final question on Word Spoken is, what's your plan for the future, man? So this is I always end the show with this question. I guess perhaps in this time it's one of the perhaps hardest questions to answer because the future is so uncertain. But yeah, well, what do you plan for the future with your spoken word, with your poetry?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not a big I don't focus too much on that.
You're in the present.
Yeah, stay in the present.
I'm with you.
Stay here, but have a. I've definitely am aware that you need to have a little bit of a plan. You know, not to this, and get so blinded on it, but definitely be sort of watering. The plant, so to speak. But my plan for the future is essentially the same plan that's in the present, because then that future will materialize out of that, which is keep writing as much as possible. Don't get too concerned with where it's going. Keep it as honest and as direct and as simple as I can. Keep absorbing new material. Keep connecting with people, and keep having a laugh at it all. And don't lose your soul because of what's going on. Make sure you keep that well watered as well. That's it.
That is a lovely message to finish this episode on. Well, look, one final thing we need to do as well is remind people where they can follow you on the socially sapping medium of Instagram. We love it, but we hate it. Where can they follow you?
The online vampires can find me, Rivers SR1. Cool. I always thought it'd be cool to sound like a car.
All right then, vampires, dig your teeth into that one. Look, mate, thank you so much for coming on the show. We've had 3 amazing pieces. We've had Flesh, we've had Abandoned, and we've had Drip. We've had 2 great recommendations there. We had a silly little 155 all about puddles, which you drew a lovely penis, I have to say. Mine's much bigger though.
That's more of a chode.
Chode.
I heard that the chode's more.
That is. I hope yours isn't. Anyway, look, mate, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. This has been the first episode of season 2. I cannot wait for all the other ones that are coming up. A massive thank you to you, mate. You've absolutely smashed it.
Thank you.
Thanks for helping me kick this season off. And we will see you all next week.
Yeah.
Cheers.
See ya.